Hey guys, what's up? It's Paige. Welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be telling you guys my experience meeting Jacob Whitesides during the Love Stick tour on May 30th in Cleveland at the Grog Shop. I bought these tickets in March and I got first 50. I got the confirmation email not even a minute after the tickets went on sale. So I knew that I was going to get first 50. I was planning on going with my friend Maddie, who lives in Columbus, but I ended up going with my friend Rachel because Maddie could not get a ride in time. So before the concert that day, Jacob had this little acoustic session where he was just kind of hanging out with his fans, talking to them, playing some songs on his guitar and stuff like that. So I live about 10 minutes away from the Grog Shop, so I decided to go down there before I had to come back to pick up Rachel so that we could go to the concert. So I went down there at about 1:15, 1:30, and he was still out there playing his little guitar. And I went and I parked, and where you park in Coventry, you have to use a meter. So I parked at a meter, and then I had to go into Mark's to get my change broken down because I only had a 10 with me. So I was like, hey, can you break this down? And the guy was like, no, you have to buy something for me to break it down. So I bought a chocolate bar. I don't know why. It was the first thing I saw. So I bought the chocolate bar. He gave me some quarters. I went and I put change in the meter, and then I went to the Grog Shop. And this entire time I was texting my internet friend Emily, who happened to be going to the same show. And so I texted her. I'm like, oh, is Jacob still outside? And we knew what each other looked like, but I don't really know why I was scared to tap on her shoulder and be like, hey, I'm here. But she sent me a picture of Jacob, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm right behind her. I texted her, I'm like, I'm literally right behind you. So she turns around, and while Jacob's getting ready to play his next song, she goes, hey ho. And I'm like, oh my god. Emily, what are you doing? So I was kind of just standing there, and she was with her friends Allie and Cassie, and then Lex. So they were all together, and I kind of just appeared in their group. So I was talking to Emily. I'm like, Emily, I have this chocolate bar and I don't know what to do with it. She's like, give it to Jacob, who cares? So after he finished the next song, I'm holding the chocolate bar. I'm like, Jacob, do you want this chocolate bar? I had to buy it in order to get quarters for parking. He's like, oh sure. And then he asked me a question and I don't really know what he said, but Emily answered it. I don't really know. So I gave it to Emily, and Emily gave it to Jacob, and Jacob was like, hey Derek, can you put this in the freezer so I can eat it later? And Derek said yeah. So then Jacob played a few more songs. We kind of just chilled there for a little bit, and he was like, okay guys, I have to go take a shower. So he went, and we kind of made two lines, expecting him to stop and take selfies with us, but he didn't because he literally stunk and had to go take a shower. But I did get some selfies with him in it, so I'll enter those in now. So after that, my group, Emily, Cassie, Lex, Emily, and Kaylee, we all kind of walked down Coventry and stopped and took pictures in cute places that were down there. We stopped in American Apparel to go look around and take selfies, just trying to kill time. So at around 3:15, I decided to leave because I had family over that day because it was Memorial Day. So I came back home, kind of saw my family for a little bit, and then Rachel came over eventually, and we packed up our stuff and we left to go back to the Grog Shop. So I brought more quarters this time, and I got 6 hours of parking, thank God. And so we went and we waited in line, and the nice thing about the Grog Shop is it's in a small area, and it's a very open area also. So with the openness, there's a lot of concrete that you can, if you have chalk, you can write chalk on. So they decorated the entire outside of the Grog Shop with Jacob Whiteside stuff and Ohio and Memorial Day stuff, and it was super cute. So I'll insert pictures in here. So I actually didn't take most of these pictures the day of the concert. I actually went again the next day because my friend and I were dropping some stuff off at a store down the street, and I'm like, hey, can we go look to see if the chalk is still there? And it was still there, and it was so cute. And this lady actually asked me, she was like, were you not at the concert yesterday? And I was like, no, I was here, I just didn't take pictures of the chalk. And she's like, oh, that's funny. And she asked me if the boy had ever showed up, because at one point Jacob was like, where's Shane, like, why isn't he here? And we were like, we don't know where he is. And then someone had also asked him, like, if he was excited to see Alexandra perform. He goes, who's that? And literally, it was the funniest thing I've ever experienced, because, like, no one knows who Alexandra is except for people in Cleveland, because he performs at every concert in Cleveland. The Shane Harper meet and greet and the Alexandra meet and greets were before Jacob's meet and greets. So first it was Alexandra's, and they went in, and his meet and greets were like $20, and then Shane Harper's went in and they were like $30, and I kind of wanted to get one because he was really attractive, but I just didn't have the money with me. And then it was Jacob's. So the thing with this venue is, if you're under the age of 21, you cannot come out and re-enter into the venue. So basically what that means is that everyone who had Shane and Alex meet and greets were at the front of the stage. This is where I get very passionate about this. I got very angry when I noticed, when they started checking us in the venue, that the Alex meet and greets and that the Shane meet and greets were still in there, because, you know, Jacob's the headliner, and it's kind of ridiculous that we're the ones who paid more money for it, even though I did get first 50, but a lot of my friends paid a lot of money for these tickets, and, you know, they're in the back, or like, they're not in the back, but they're in the middle for the headliner. And it's just kind of like, well, I get that these people also paid extra money too, but like, they're for the opening acts. I don't really know. It was kind of ridiculous to me, but you know what? I ended up in a really, really good spot for the show. So they checked us off. When you walked into the venue, they marked a capital L on your right hand and then a capital cursive L on your left hand. They checked off your meet and greet, they took your ticket, and then they gave you the VIP laminate for the tour. It's purple, and it says VIP Jacob Whitesides. Super cute. Jacob has a lot of scruff in this picture, so I'm really feeling it. So the wine kind of like winded around the room a little bit. So as time went on, the meet and greet started about 15 to 20 minutes late. Jacob was late, of course. So at one point, like, I saw Derek. I'm like, what is happening? So then he's like running through with Jacob. I'm like, oh, hey. So the line started moving, and once it was about my turn, I stopped in front of the backdrop, like, enough that, like, everyone knew it was my turn. Like, it was my turn next. But, like, I wasn't, like, going around the corner. So I stopped at the backdrop, and I'm like, hey, Derek, long time no see. And if you guys don't know, Derek's Jacob's bodyguard, who I love so, so dearly. I love him so much. He is so caring. Like, he makes sure that Jacob's safe, and then Jacob's fans are safe also, which is really nice because, you know, everyone has to be safe. And he's like, yeah, it's been a long time. I was like, oh, you remember me? He's like, yeah, you just look a little older. So I saw the girl come out from the other side, and I'm like, oh, it's my turn. So I went in, and I hugged Jacob, and I, like, squeezed him, and I'm like, hi, and he's like, hi, and I was like, how are you? And he's like, good. I hope he said, how are you? And I don't really know if I said good. It's kind of a blur right now. But so I kind of, like, I pulled back away from him and I looked up and I'm like, okay, what pose are we doing? And he was like, how about we do a face hug? And I'm like, okay. So he wrapped his arms all around my face, and I wrapped my arms around his torso, and I smiled, and I knew that my eyes were closed because I heard the flash when my eyes were closed. So I don't really know how it's gonna look. Hopefully his eyes were closed too, so it's like cuter. So they took the picture, and then I hugged him again. I'm like, have an amazing show. And he's like, thanks, I hope you enjoy it. And then he kind of like pushed me out because, you know, they were on a tight schedule, because doors opened soon. So my friends and I got like a solid spot kind of towards the left corner of the stage, and the stage was like very cramped. The way that this venue worked is the stage was in a triangle in the corner of the room. So I practically made it to first row eventually towards the end of the concert. But so the order went Alex, Shane, Jacob. And so Alex was kind of a joke. My friends and I were kind of like standing there like laughing, getting him to sing with us. Like, it was just really funny. Then for Shane, so hot. Oh my god. Just so good. So good. My friend Emily yelled out, hi Spencer, because that's his name on Good Luck Charlie. And he goes, who said that? And she shot her hand up, and it was the funniest thing I've ever seen. Oh my gosh. And then as Jacob was getting ready to come on for his set, like, people started coming out from his band. And I was just kind of standing there like, that man is so gorgeous. Like, who is that? And Emily goes, oh, that's his guitarist, Garrett. And I'm like, okay, hey Garrett. So I kind of like tried to talk to Garrett, and I was like, hey, excuse me, sir. And Emily yells out from the back, that's Garrett. And I'm like, oh my god, okay, Emily. And I'm like, Garrett, like, you're so hot. And he kind of like laughed at me, but then his mic was right in front of me. So as he was like setting up, I'm like, hey Garrett, like, want to meet up after the show? Like, absolutely jokingly, like, I have a boyfriend who I love very, very much. And he just kind of laughed about it. So the show went on. Garrett and I made very good eye contact. Jacob was amazing. I love him. Everyone knows how amazing Jacob is. So I'm just gonna focus this on Garrett right now. So as the show went on, there was kind of like a little break. It wasn't an intermission. They just all kind of like took a minute to like recuperate for like 30 seconds or so. And I was like, hey Garrett, want to actually meet up after the show? And he laughed, nodded his head, shook his head, and like shrugged his shoulders. And I like shrugged back, and it was just a really funny moment. Jacob was amazing. He sang all my favorite songs. Oh my gosh, his new songs were so good. There was one song, I think it was Open Book. I think that's what it's called. But there's this bass drop. I don't know, it was one of the two new songs. But there was this bass drop at the very beginning, and me and this girl literally said, oh shit, at the exact same time when it dropped, and we looked at each other and started laughing so hard. Oh my gosh. And then the show ended, and I had to take Rachel home, and I wish I could have stayed after the show, but I had things to do in the morning, and she had to go to school. So yeah, if you get the chance to go to the Lovesick tour, I highly, highly, highly recommend it. Such a good tour. You can never go wrong with seeing Jacob. He's coming out with an album towards sometime this year is what he said, so you will definitely be seeing him on tour very soon again. Knowing him, he likes to tour a lot, so yeah. Well, that is my experience meeting Jacob Whitesides. This is my third experience. I have the second experience also on my channel, so I will link that video down below if you want to go check that one out. But with that all being said, thanks for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.